In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Sony XLR K3M audio module. We're going to look at why this little accessory can help elevate just about every Sony mirrorless camera on the market, and why I absolutely love it for the A7S III. For those of you that are new around here, my name is Riley, and I'm a documentary filmmaker that likes talking about everything from filmmaking and creativity to faith. I'm also someone that likes to use Sony cameras. So if any of that interests you, be sure to subscribe and follow along. All right, let's dive in. Now, I'm not an audio expert by any stretch of the imagination, so this is going to be less of a technical deep dive and more of a hands-on experience type of review. Now, why do I think this accessory is a big deal or even worth making a video about in the first place? It really comes down to friction and footprint. Now, the amount of friction that this device reduces is hard to overstate because it doesn't have a cable, it doesn't have a battery, and it doesn't have an SD card. And those are all three areas that take away your attention from the story that's happening in front of you. It takes away attention from your lighting and your composition. And so not having to worry about those things with an external audio recorder is a really big deal, especially on the types of projects that I do. I often don't have the budget or the means to be able to have a dedicated sound person come on the documentaries that I produce, and I'm often having to handle all of those components myself. And so not needing to bring an external recorder with me, being able to just have this attached to the camera and not have another cable that could come unplugged or an extra battery to worry about, those sorts of things really does reduce the amount of friction and allows me to be freed up to be a better storyteller and a better filmmaker. The other thing is that this can attach to a mirrorless camera like the A7S III, and I've talked about this in other videos, but I really prefer this style of shooting with this type of camera body because it allows me to look like I'm a photographer, and often if I'm filming in another country, I look like a tourist rather than someone who has a big camera and could look like the press. And so I can often film more discreetly, draw less attention to myself, and just focus on the story more rather than having to deal with permits or people looking at me funny or not being willing to allow me into a location. And so having a small accessory that you can put on the top of a hybrid style body, it almost looks like a flash when you have it on the top of the camera to the untrained eye. And so this is something that I feel like is really going to help elevate my projects to be able to have more professional audio features and connections, being able to mic more people, monitor more people that are mic'd, while not really having to have much bigger footprint, not needing an FX6 or an FX9 to be able to do all of those things. Sony's design for this accessory is pretty smart. It's basically a modular attachment that goes onto the top of your Sony mirrorless camera and attaches onto the multi-interface hot shoe. It has a little clamp to twist it and keep it in place, and it allows you to have two XLR inputs with phantom power so that you can power a shotgun microphone. If you have a lav mic that requires XLR, you have the ability to have a nice XLR and a professional connection. As well, it also has a 3.5mm stereo input for a third and fourth channel. The K3M also has 3 dials on the side of the camera that allows you to adjust the gain or sensitivity of these 4 channels. The 2 XLR channels are independent, and the third and fourth channel are mixed together. Now, if you use something like this little $5 to $10 cable from Hosa, you can plug it into that 3.5mm stereo input and split the stereo channels to have 4 independent channels, which is really nice. You could also use something like the Rode Wireless 2, which allows 2 transmitters to be sent to one single receiver that splits the stereo signal so that you have 2 independent controls there. The other really nice thing about this device is that on the back of the camera, there's this little switch to where you can change it from a digital input to an analog input. And so some of the older cameras like the A6500, you can switch it to analog and be able to use it with that camera. But something newer like the A7S Mark III, you switch that to digital and it's compatible with that device as well. The XLR K3M audio module also features a low-cut filter that you can turn on and off, an attenuator, as well as the ability to put the gain for your microphones into an auto mode. So if you don't have the ability or the time in a run and gun type scenario to be riding that little dial up and down, you can switch this to auto and it'll do a pretty good job of getting the level for you. It's not going to be perfect or as good as dialing it in manually, but it's definitely nice in a pinch to be able to have that option. Overall, I feel like the value for this is actually really good. Now, it does come in at just under $600 US at the time of making this video, but you get the K3M device itself. It comes with this XLR microphone that I feel like is pretty good. The microphone comes with this little, dead cat windscreen. It's, pretty small because it's built for this small little XLR microphone. So, maybe we could call this a dead squirrel. I don't know, but it comes with it. So definitely nice value there. It also comes with this little cable that allows you to relocate the K3M off of the top of the camera. So one end attaches to the camera and then one end attaches to the K3M, and you could attach it to a side handle or somewhere else on your rig if you're flying it on a gimbal, that sort of thing, and you don't want it on the top of the camera. It's definitely a nice feature to be able to have. And the package also comes with this little carrying case, which is nice because you can throw it in your bag and not really have to worry about it getting damaged or packing it separately and all that sort of stuff. As always, I would love to hear from you. So if you're using or considering using the K3M audio module, be sure to leave a comment below. I would love to hear your perspective. And as always, liking and subscribing are the best ways to help me support this channel. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.